We're now on Daf Gimel Amid Beis. The Omar of Shmuel Bar Unya, from this story about this Malach, Hashem, came and criticized and rebuked Yoshua because of Bittul Talmud Torah, and also because of Bittul Atomit, but Ato Basi, he was mainly motivated by Bittul Torah, is we derive from this Gadol Talmud Torah Yotzim Akravas Hatmidim, that Talmud Torah trumps Talmud, Shenemar Ato Basi. In any event, now we have a question on Beis Rebbe. Beis Rebbe derived that when Mavatul Torah, in order to come hear the Megilla from a Kavachom from Avodah, meaning that Avodah is more chamur than Talmud Torah, when in fact we see from this whole sugya of the Halonu Ata Imlitzarenu Yoshua that it's the opposite, that Talmud Torah is more chamur than Avodah. More answers Lokasha Hada Rabim v'Hada Yochim. When the Malach was giving Tochacha to Yoshua, it was on Bittul Torah D'Rabim. Talmud Torah D'Rabim is a separate entity, a separate kiyum. For example, we find in the midst of Hakel that when the entire community gets together, it's a communal Talmud Torah. And any tzibur that gathers together engenders a special status, high status Talmud Torah of Rab. And that's more chomer than Avodah. But Beis Rebbe, who derived the conclusion to be Mavatul Talmud Torah from Mikra Megilla from a Kavachom from Avodah, that was Talmud Torah the Yachid, and Avodah is Chamura, it's more heavy than Talmud Torah the Yachid. So if you as a Yachid have a clash between Talmud Torah, your own learning, and Mikra Megillah, the tzibur is gathering together Mikra Megillah, Rebbe says, for sure, if we're Mavatal Avodah for Mikra Megillah, how much more so Talmud Torah the Yachid, we're going to be Mavatal for Mikra Megillah. And Talmud Torah the Yachid means that it's not all of Klal Yisrael learning. There are groups or maybe individuals who are learning on themselves. And the Talmud Torah Beis Rebbe, even though it was public in nature, but nevertheless it was Talmud Torah the Yachid, it wasn't all of Klal Yisrael gathered together. So the Gemara now asks the question, the Yachid Kal, are you telling me that Talmud Torah the Yachid is on a lower echelon, on a lower level than Avodah, than Megillah? Forget about Avodah now, but let's focus on Megillah. Rebbe said, you're Mavatal your own learning for the sake of Mikra Megillah. You're going to be Docha Talmud Torah. Basnan, let's take a cue from the laws of Avelus, in the case of never a loss of a Talmud Chacham, which represents Torah. So all that's involved now in this discussion that we're about to embark upon is Kavod Torah. And in the laws of Avelus, the Mishnah towards the end of Moed says that Nashim, now, when they take out the dead to be buried, there's a whole process of upgrading the Avelus, the mourning and the grief, through different methods, through what's called kinos and what's called ma'anos, metapchos. These are all different kinds of, there were women who were in charge of this, and this would generate a certain very profound sense of loss and grief, these shrieks and these sounds. And on a moed, when we bury the dead during Chol HaMoed, we're in a bind, we're in a clash, because on the one hand, Kavod Torah, a Talmud Chacham has to be buried, but on the other hand, to upgrade and intensify the grief is so antithetical to the mitzvah of Simcha on the Regel. So the Mishnah establishes that we're going to allow for a halfway measure. We're not going to allow mekononos, we're not going to allow metapchos,